this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm back again with that folio that we have been making. If you've been following along with the buy your own kit and, you know, make our folio together. So I'm back now to, you know, carry on with that. Now, we have so far been obviously working on the inside. We have started, I think, making 1 or 2 bits of ephemera. But I thought today, let's come along and decorate the outside of the folio. So I'm just going to, I'm going to be using my floral fabric. So if you bought one of the physical kits, I'm using my, you know, floral fabric. I don't know why that's causing me a problem to say that today. Yeah, I'm going to use that. Now, obviously, again, depending on, you know, your colour scheme, you may or may not want to use that. But that's the one that I'm going to be using. Now, I'm going to cut this, well, yeah, tear this down so it's more or less the height of the, you know, the folio itself. So the height of the external envelope. So I'm going to just cut it sort of here. Now, personally, I quite like the frayed look, the frayed edge look. So I'm not worried that this is not going to be a snug fit, if that makes sense. So tear that down like that. Okay. Obviously, if you don't like the torn edges, you could use your like pinking shears or something to, you know, get like a neater edge. I quite like the torn edges, so that's why, you know, I've decided to just do that. Right, so I've torn it down so it's kind of like more or less the height of the folio. And like I say, it's going to have a bit of an overhang. I'll just show you there so as you can see a bit of an overhang. Which again, I quite like that look. If you don't like that look, obviously you could, you know, you could measure yours, you could, you know, just make it more snug. So as it fits your, oops, now I dropped my scissors. So as it fits your piece a little bit better. But I thought that I'm just going to have a bit of an overhang and then, you know, hopefully that's going to kind of work out quite nicely. So obviously this is not big enough to fit over the entire thing, if you see what I mean, because we joined 2 envelopes together. So I will either piece in another piece of fabric here, or I will, you know, do something else with that. So, but hopefully that's going to kind of make for a much more interesting look than just having, you know, all fabric. The piecing in, that's where hopefully we're going to kind of make it a little bit more, you know, interesting and kind of pretty. So I'm just going to use my, you know, 3-in-1 glue to actually stick this down. So let me just clean the nozzle. So all I'm going to do is obviously just stick this around the entire envelope. So I'm going to go as close as I can get really to the edges so that hopefully it's, you know, got a good covering, and then up, you know, close to that fold line, close to that edge there. Okay. And then obviously just plenty of glue in the middle so it's, you know, nicely stuck down. Now, you know, you can use your PVA type glue that also sticks down. I've used PVA type glue to stick fabric down lots of times. I mean, obviously I'm referring to the Anita's Tacky glue. I haven't obviously tried other brands, but you know, you don't have to be using the 3-in-1. I'm just using that because I was really lucky enough to be, you know, gifted a whole ton of it. So by the lovely Michelle. So that's why I'm using that. But do not feel that you know, you have to use that. If you don't have any of that, other glues would work just as well. Now I'm going to use my glue spreader to kind of spread this out so it's hopefully as wrinkle free as I can possibly get it. Okay. So my overhang, if you can see, it's at the top and the bottom, but it's not really at the edge. There's a slight overhang at the edge, but not too much. So just a little bit at the edge. So I'm going to turn that over now and obviously just go round the back. So exactly the same, going kind of up to my fold. Oops. Yeah, up to the folded line like that. I'm so sorry if you can hear children. My daughter's had her cousin over to stay, you know, for a sleepover, so they are now giggling and laughing and making loads of noise. So I did tell them I'm doing a video, I need you to be quiet, and of course as soon as you say that, that just seems to provoke more hilarity and more, you know, oh ha ha, how funny, that kind of behaviour. that seems to be going on. So I just can only apologise, honestly. I'm so sorry. Right. Okay, so plenty of glue, again, all over that back cover, like that. Okay. Right, so literally just take that straight round and, you know, wrap that across. Now, again, should have probably ironed my fabric because it is a little bit on the creased side. So, yeah, you may want to iron yours. But hey, I'm not going to, because to be honest, when you glue it down, if you're careful, you can probably glue it, stretching those creases out, and then, hey, who wants to iron if you don't have to? So just getting those creases out by, you know, by the gluing, basically. So yeah, a kind of cheater's method there for people who don't like ironing. Okay, right, then I'm going to kind of like flip it open and do this section here. So again, I'm going to go in now. I might just quickly sort of, yeah, mark in my mind. So I need to go up to this sort of point here with my glue line. So like that. And again, you know, quite a bit in that crease if I possibly can. And then here like that. Okay. And then quite a bit of glue here on this section here. Okay, right. Take that and pop that down. And again, just spread that out to, you know, hopefully try and kind of ease with the creases. I mean, like I say, I should really have not been lazy and I should have just ironed the fabric. But of course, who wants to do that? Especially if you don't have to and you can get around it by spreading the creases out with the glue. Why would you bother? Okay. So like that. Okay, so now what I might do, so this one, we've got this flap here, which if you recall, I wasn't quite sure whether to leave that as a flap or whether to glue that in. I will probably glue that in, I think. We did that on the other side, glued it in. So yeah, I'm going to glue it in here as well. So I'm just going to glue that down. So, and I'm just going to use my tacky glue for that. Okay. Oh, I have enjoyed this project so much. So I really hope if you bought this, you know, this Build Your Own Folio kit, I hope you have had a really wonderful time using it. I mean, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed it. And yeah, I really hope that you guys, you know, I mean, even if you didn't buy the kit, if you followed along and done it with your own materials, you know, I really hope that you've enjoyed the project. And, you know, if it's gone down well, then who knows, I might be able to do some more of these types of kits. I mean, obviously they won't be identical, but similar, you know, in the future. And, you know, we could do more of these. So, yeah, let me know what you think. Have you enjoyed it? You know, would you like to get one of the kits if I do more? Because I could even kind of, you know, maybe, I don't know. I'm just thinking sort of out loud here. So, yeah. I don't like to say things and then not be able to actually fulfill them. But, you know, who knows? We might be able to, you know, work something out where I would say, you know, if people give me their names. But to be honest, it will depend, you know, because obviously I won't have unlimited kind of resources to be able to make unlimited amounts of them. But, you know, if I could do them, say, you know, 10 at a time or something like that, then, you know, we could do these, you know, quite often maybe going forward. I don't know. Just like I say, you know, putting thoughts out there and yeah, just hoping for feedback really, you know, if you've enjoyed working with your kit, if you thought this was a really super fun project, you know, because it's, yeah, to me, it's felt like a really comprehensive project. We've done it in really nice, hopefully you've found it really nice kind of, you know, slow time, but hopefully not too slow and dithery, but yeah, slow time and, you know, nice manageable kind of time scale. So I'm just going to fill in that piece there with obviously, you know, this piece. As you can see, again, yes, very creased fabric. So again, going to hopefully try and smoosh those creases out, or smooth those creases out, not smoosh them. Well, maybe smoosh them, who knows, but get rid of them anyway. That's the key there, get rid of them. So, okay. Okie dokie, right. Let's put that there. So again, just spread that glue. Now I'm just going to again use my glue spreader. Oh my goodness. Like that. Okay, so unfortunately, I mean, I've not really managed to marry that up very well at the top, sort of height-wise. I've not done too bad at the bottom, but yeah, the top's a little bit kind of hit and miss, but it's okay. So that's that. Now, obviously here, where I've got this join line, I mean, I'm kind of thinking we're going to make, not a feature of it exactly, but we're going to kind of embrace it. So I'm going to use some of my green lace. And again, you know, if you've followed along with this, if you've bought a kit, and I have said this, hopefully, I've said this in every video, I can't guarantee what laces you're going to get. You know, there's a variety of the lace, and you know, it will just very much depend. You know, the kits will all be random laces and random ladybird books. You know, the only things that are random are obviously the things that I can't control, you know, when I purchase them, like how many I could get, if that makes sense. So hence you're going to have a, you know, potentially the same, potentially not the same scenario going on, if you see what I mean. Okay. I don't think that even made sense to my own ears, so probably didn't make much sense, but yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking kind of put that down there. Now I have got obviously more lace. Now we've predominantly used in this journal, we've used the white lace and we have used the green lace. So I'm just going to take some of this white, just snip that down there. Okay. So if I just pop that down like that, and then I could just put the green over the top. So I mean, straight away, that looks really quite pretty, doesn't it? It covers up the join, and you know, it's made like a feature of something that otherwise could be, you know, oh, you've got a join there. And then what we could do is obviously, you know, pretty it up a bit further. So that's quite pretty, isn't it? Just have a look. Right, let me just take these plastic bits out of these flowers. Right, I'm just going to glue these flowers together, and I say this all the time, but just so that then they're kind of easier to use once they're actually, you know, glued together. Oops, I just have to get another glue stick, so hold on, glue this, and then I'll get another glue stick. So, okay, like that, right. Sorry, just grabbing something that my hot glue gun was kind of stuck on, throwing it in the bin. Okay, and yeah, just put those flowers there. Okay, right, let's just peel those glue threads out. Get rid of these little plasticky bits. Now I'm just wondering if I could have maybe, I mean, that's quite pretty actually, isn't it? So let me just cut this down. That is quite pretty, and actually now I'm thinking, oh, maybe we could like curve this a little bit. Maybe like that. Yeah, that looks really pretty, doesn't it? Let me just have a look at this flower here. Oops. I mean, obviously I don't want to bulk this out too much because the other, you know, flap is going to come over this, but yeah, just kind of making it look pretty really. And then this, you know, this will fold over. So, I mean, I kind of think that yeah, it looks about right really. So just going to put the 3-in-1 down to glue that white crocheted lace down first. So now that crochet lace is quite wide, so I put quite a bit of this 3-in-1 down like that. Okay, and then just for a bit of a helping hand, I might put some hot glue along kind of where the center is, where it would be covered by the green lace. Okay, so that pop down like that. Okay, and like I say, where I've then put that hot glue down, yeah, the hot glue, that's going to then be covered with this green. Okay, so I'm so sorry, they're getting louder. Okay, so quite a bit of the 3-in-1 here to put this one on. So like that. Okay. Like that. Now, what's happened to my flower? Oh, there we go. Right. So then we can have this here, and we were going to put the green flower in the middle, and then this one here. Now I'm just wondering whether we could even have maybe a bow as well. I don't know. Maybe this colour. That's quite pretty, isn't it? And actually the other thing that I haven't used so far really at all is I've got this pearly trim, which also comes in the kit. So maybe even have a bit of pearly trim somewhere. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, we actually haven't used this at all, so now thinking, oh, I might have to go back through the folio and use some of this in other places. But let's just pop this down here. So again, just use my hot glue for this. Like that. Oh, and the other thing is, I haven't used any tassels, which unfortunately they've all spilled out of the bag. And so now they're all a little bit all over the desk. So yeah. Not great, because obviously, yeah, they're all everywhere. But just wondering if I could maybe put this one here. I do like that blue tassel. What do you think? That does look pretty, doesn't it? So yeah, let's try. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue here underneath those petals, and then just, oh my goodness, come on, like that. Oh, come on. Like that. And then I'm just going to put a little dab more on and put those petals, you know, down onto that, like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut that little bit out. Oh, come on. Okay, so that looks good. Right, I'm going to pop this green flower in the centre of that flower. I love that. And then this one, I'm just going to put this down here. Kind of like that up a bit, but yeah, I'm going to put it down there. Goodness, come on. Like that. Okay. Right, let me get all my hot glue threads off, because they're just like stringing all over everywhere. Right, so that's that. And then this one here, just wondering actually whether we could have in the centre of there one of these. Let me just cut off just one of these. I might not really be able to because I've put it very close to that tassel now. Well, maybe like that. Yeah, maybe like that. So I just need to be a little bit careful how I put this. So, oh my goodness, just, yeah, pulled loads of stuff off now onto the floor. Okay, like that. Now I'm just going to see whether we want to have any more of this trim. Maybe like just going across here or something. Do we want to have a bow? Oh, maybe we won't have a bow. Although, to be honest, I'm now thinking actually perhaps we should have more flowers and make it more, you know, like a bit like a little garden kind of up this section. I mean, I think that looks really pretty anyway. So it's probably not really necessary, but let's just have a look and see. Not sure about the orange on this one actually, but the orange did look good on the inside where it was next to those brown papers. It took on that brown look, but yeah, it's looking quite orange here, so maybe not that one. Got this lovely blue. Let's try that. And yeah, maybe kind of, let's just try a white one. Okay. Yeah, maybe like that. So I'm going to just again glue all of those flowers together so that we can then, oops, put them down. So, oh gosh. Oh, this is like proving very fiddly. So, right, one. So, petal number 1, like that. Petal number 2. Honestly, every time I pick up my glue gun now, I'm flicking something or catching something and flicking it on the floor. So, yeah, I have more things flick onto the floor then. Right, that's that one. So, I'm just going to glue this one down. That's like that. Oh, pretty. Very pretty. Okay, and then this one with the kind of off-white petals. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to have to do an X-Piles series again soon because, oh my goodness, my desk is just appalling. So, yeah. Not sure when. Oh, dear. Yeah, I'm not sure when, but, yeah, definitely I think that needs to happen soon because, oh my goodness, it's looking terrible. Absolutely terrible. Okay, right, that looks very, very pretty, doesn't it? And then, do we want to have this one down here, or should we have it kind of, oh, maybe mingled up there? Okay, yeah, maybe like just mingled in there. And then, do we want some flower centres in these? I mean, I know I said this before, but, you know, I mean, I don't always put flower centres in. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. You know, I don't think they necessarily always need centres, but yeah, it's just a kind of experiment, I suppose, really. But we're just kind of making like a little flower garden going on there, which I think looks very pretty. Right, I'm just going to cut this trim now. Just see whether we want any other. Have a look. What do we think to that? I know it's a little bit in a line, but well, perhaps we could have it down there. Perhaps we'll have it down there, yeah. Okay, so like that. Oh, that looks so pretty, doesn't it? Yeah, really love how that looks. Now, just wondering whether we want to have anything else here. Okay, hold on. sorry about that. Obviously a fallout was ensuing with those children, so yep, they've now had a fallout. I just kept saying, well, I'm working, so you need to go and sort it out. Right, okay. Now, also my lace pack, and I think most people did get some of this pink. I'm just wondering, because I've got the pink here, whether I could have a little bit of pink just maybe down this edge, just to kind of finish it off. I think that does look quite nice. The only thing is, I do feel like I would need then another flower to somehow, you know, bring it together. Or perhaps it's better without that. Yeah, maybe it's better without that. Right, okay. So do we like it like that? Maybe just one, I don't know. Oh, maybe two. Right, okay. Oh, I also had that bright pink floral trim, which I totally forgot about. So honestly, because everything's got so buried on my desk, it's yeah, it's not great because I can't actually see things or remember what I had and what I didn't have. So we could have a bright pink. I mean, the bright pink kind of changes it quite a lot, doesn't it? I can't decide whether I prefer it with or without the bright pink, to be honest. I think it looks quite Japanesey. I don't know about everyone else, but yeah, I think that has quite a Japanesey type look. Maybe less so with the pink. I'm going to leave it like that for the time being. So if you followed along, you may be now having some sort of pretty sort of floral garden thing going on in your inside flap. And then obviously you're going to then fold it over, and this is now your front cover, okay? So for my front cover, now I have got this grey kind of ribbon. Now again, the ribbon that you get is all going to be different. We're all going to have different ribbons. So, you know, I obviously don't know whether your ribbon is going to match your project. I don't know whether it's going to, you know, be satin ribbon. It could be organza. It could be grosgrain. I just don't know, I'm afraid. But hopefully you've got, you know, some nice ribbon anyway that you do like. And if you don't have ribbon, because all I'm trying to do is kind of do some sort of closure, you will have obviously your lace pack, which you will hopefully have, you know, some pretty laces and things that you would like, and you could maybe use them as a little closure at the side and tie them into a bow or something like that. You know, you should have something hopefully that you could use or adapt to use as a closure. So yeah, I'm kind of wondering about using this. My ribbon was the red, the pink and the grey in my kit. Now the pink, I mean, to be fair, the pink, obviously I have got touches of pink in here. I know this is much more purple, but I'm kind of thinking, well, perhaps we could use the pink, or perhaps we could use the pink and the grey. Let me just open my little ribbon, not reel, but you know, my length of ribbon. Let's just see. I don't know. I do quite like it. I mean, I'm kind of thinking maybe even just have it as a wraparound closure, you know, with a couple of lengths of ribbon. It's not really quite right, is it? To be honest, that's not really the right ribbon. Okay, so yeah, scrap that idea. I have got that pink lace, which, like I say, I'm pretty sure that most packs of lace have got some of this pink. And the only reason I say that is because this is actually some vintage lace that I've had for a long time, and I know that I had a big enough quantity to make sure that everybody got some of this. Whereas some of the other lace, I can't be sure, you know, how much there was actually, you know, that I had in the first place, if that makes sense. So yeah, you may or may not have other laces. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking maybe this. So if this were glued down here, now I've got some of this ivory crochet lace, so I'm thinking maybe have that down the edge. Now I'm wondering whether I could use something as a topper. Now these are on sort of flimsier paper, so if I were to use this as a topper, I would definitely back it onto something. I wouldn't you know, I wouldn't use it in its, you know, paper form. I would definitely back it onto some, yeah, some other paper. So I'm just thinking I could back it onto here. Okay, so yeah, let's just do that. So I'm just going to quickly back this. Oops. So this I'm going to put plenty of glue on, because again I want to make sure it's kind of glued down everywhere. So just going to, yeah, pop it down here. Now I'm just putting it onto some book page. Again, that was just because that's what I had, you know, laying around on the desk. So just going to spread the glue out. Okay, like that. Right, let's cut that down, and then I might even put this on a third layer, you know, because this is going to be my topper. I want to really make sure it's very, you know, very strong. So yeah, I might even put a third, you know, the third layer of book page. So I mean, I might regret that and kind of think, oh, it's now like really strong. Oh, do you know, I'm going to, yeah, let's do that. So just going to layer that with more. Okay, like that. And clean my glue spreader out. Oops, like that. Okay, so yeah, nice and strong hopefully now. So I'm just going to cut that down. Okay. Oh, Lord only knows what that noise was. Sorry if you can hear that noise. I have no idea what that is. Never heard that before. I assume it's you know, my little nephew's tablet. Maybe it's a game or something. I don't know. Never ever heard that noise before. So definitely, yeah, not something I'm familiar with. You might not have even heard it, but it was a kind of bleep, bleep, bleep. Weird noise. But it sounded very much like a game or something on a tablet. So I'm sure that's probably what it was. Right, okay, so we have got that. Now, again, let me just going to get some tissue. Oops, because I seem to have no, you know, dried out wipes. So let me just bring in some tissue here. Okay, right, press this down. Okay. Right. Now, I might stitch around this on the sewing machine. And again, you know, because we're doing this together, if I sew this on the sewing machine, it doesn't mean you have to do that. If you don't have access to a sewing machine, or you don't like using your sewing machine for crafting, you know, you really don't need to sew it on a sewing machine. Please don't think, oh, you know, now I've not got a sewing machine. It's just an optional stage. You really don't have to, you know, use your sewing machine at all. It's just, you know, I thought that the sewing machine might be quite nice. So just going to pop that down there. Okay. So just putting that on that line of lace, you know, that we cut for the other side where we made that other sort of flap. So we're just going to do that. Okay. And I'm just going to cut that down a bit because it's a little bit long. So like that. Okay. So I'm just going to see if I want any other lace, and yeah, before I actually take it to the sewing machine, I'll just see if I want anything else on it that maybe I'd want sewed, yeah, sewn, rather than stuck on. So I'm just kind of going to take this So this is obviously that remnant of the, whoops, the fabric. So we just see. I mean, we could have that sort of ruffled up, I don't know. And just bring in the cover. I mean, I really like sort of, you know, lots of bits and pieces on my covers. So, you know, I'm not necessarily saying this is how you want to do yours, but I'm going to do this. So I'm going to take my little bit of fabric, and then when I take it to the sewing machine, I'm going to try and ruffle this on at a bit of a curve. So it's just kind of adding a little bit to that, if you can see there. So yeah, I'm not going to probably be able to film this, but I'm just going to literally put my sewing machine on quite slow, and then, you know, ruffle this round as I go. So it will stitch, and I will stitch also around the whole edge of this piece, just with a straight stitch probably. Now I'm wondering then whether, yeah, now I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm not going to be stitching that on, am I? So, right, I will be back. Hold on. Right, I'm back from the sewing machine. Now, what I've done is sewn it exactly how I said, and, you know, ruffled around that little, you know, piece of fabric on there. I've stitched around the edge with just a straight stitch. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take these, like, crest set of stamps, and I'm going to stamp an item from this to put into my cabochon. So again, everyone will get some of these in the you know, in the stamp set. So I'm going to use this one here because I think that's going to fit into that cabochon. So oops, which one did I say? That one. Right, so I'm going to do that, stamp that onto some coffee dyed paper, or well, I might even stamp it onto here. So yeah, just because this is the paper I just happen to have left. Don't think I've actually got any coffee dyed paper here beside me. So I'm just going to use this one. It's fine, you know, it will be fine. So, oh gosh, I can't now see which way up this is. Oh my goodness, my eyesight is just appalling these days. Right, okay. So now I'm going to try and use this green ink. It's got to be said, because I'm planning on glossy accenting this, and I have to say I've never tried glossy accenting over this ink. I hope it's not going to just smudge it. Yeah, obviously I don't know. I've never tried before. Now let me have a look and see. I've got my oval punches. I'm just going to see whether the 1.5 inch, is that going to be that size? I think it might be too big actually. Let's try. Okay, let's punch that out. Yeah, I think this might be too big, but we'll see. Okay. Oh my goodness, massive. Yep, absolutely massive. I think my other oval punch, I think I've just got, yeah, I think this is too small, but I mean, that looks small, doesn't it? Well, we'll see. I wonder if I could re-punch that. And admittedly, I don't think then my, oops, that stamped image is really going to, oh gosh, look what I've done. Okay. No, that's too small. I mean, honestly, what's wrong with me? Right, somewhere between the two sizes. So that's a bit annoying, isn't it? Right. Okay. So how is the best way to cut this? I don't know, actually. Has anyone got any tips for cutting round an oval? Right, what I'm going to do, I think, is cut around it here. So at its, you know, at its outer, i.e. its biggest point. And then I can then cut around it making it smaller, if that makes sense. So yeah, if I just kind of go in there. Right, now I'm just going to cut it smaller and just hope for the best, really. Not a brilliant method. So do let me know if you've got a better method for doing this than mine. But I mean, hopefully, you know, once it's all in there, it's not really going to kind of notice too much. So, right, it needs to come down quite a bit. So let's go down here. Okay. I mean, probably I could be quite clever and kind of, you know, press down to get the outline of that, the ridge. The problem is I've used quite thick card, so I don't think it would really work. Although if I press it down now, I guess I will get a rough shape, won't I? So yeah. Okay. To be honest, that worked better than I expected, actually. So it probably would have worked when it was bigger as well. But anyway, it's fine. It doesn't really matter. Oops. Just go in slightly there. Right. See if that's going to fit. No, it still needs to come down further, would you believe? Oh my goodness. Okay. Right, so let's try. Okay, right. So yeah, that does kind of fit now. So that looks okay, doesn't it? So right, took a while to get there, but yeah, got there in the end. So let's just get rid of these bits off of the desk. Okay, right, now I'm just going to ink that up a little bit with the vintage photo, because unfortunately I've done it on that green paper, which yeah, I would have preferred it obviously on coffee dyed paper. So yeah, we'll just ink it up instead, and that's fine. So that is going to squish into there, and then I'm going to glossy accent that. Like I say, I haven't ever tried glossy accenting over this you know, thingamabob, this particular brand of ink. So I'm just really praying that I'm not going to now muck it up by smudging it everywhere. We shall see. So just press that in. Now I've lost my tissue that I have been using. So yeah, honestly, everything is just a mess on here. So everything's just getting completely lost. Okay, right. Love how that little stamp looks. Very, very cute. Let's put that away. Trying to be a bit tidy. Yeah, I mean, better late than never, isn't it? To try and at least keep something in order on my desk. I mean, nothing else is in order, it's got to be said, but I'm just trying at least keep these in their packets. Right. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's bring this in. So I'm kind of thinking, you know, have that somewhere maybe there. That's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah, like that. Now, okay. Do we want anything else? I mean, I'm thinking, you know, I have got the fussy cuts, and I know I was hoarding this shoe, or the boot, but now I'm kind of thinking, oh, perhaps I should use the boot on the cover. I do love the boot, but no. Could have that on the cover. And again, you know, the fussy cut packs are all different. So, you know, whatever I'm using here, you will not necessarily have in your fussy cut pack. Hopefully you will have other things that you love equally. But I can't guarantee, you know, what I'm using here is what you're going to have in yours. But yeah, I mean, hopefully you're going to have, you know, equally things that you do really, really love. So just going to ink around the edge of there. I'm going to have to go in a minute because I could do with going to the post office before they close, and they close early on a Saturday. So no doubt the children will moan when I say to them we've got to go to the post office. So it'll probably take us a little while to get out of the house, but would love to get this finished first. So yeah, I'll just try and get it finished first, I think. So something like that, I think. Now I'm also thinking maybe make like a lace flower or something to go on here as well. So I'm just going to pull in my lace that I got in my lace pack. So, oops, again, that's just dropped on the floor now. Right. So I've used this white lace quite a bit, haven't I, inside the folio itself. So yeah, maybe that there, or maybe here even. Well, that's quite pretty. Oh, and I'm having the ribbon, the lace, aren't I, round here as a closure, as a wrap around closure. Okay, right, let's pull in. I've got these little bits left from here. So I'm kind of thinking actually could maybe make, see, now I'm wanting to hoard this piece. I mean, what's wrong with me? Why do I want to just hoard bits of fabric? It's just crazy. It's not like we have a shortage, is it? Or shall we do like a lace flower like this? Oh, yeah, I'm maybe thinking actually the green lace. So, yeah, let's move this out of the way. Right, haven't made any fabric flowers for a while. I'm feeling a little bit nervous, to be honest, which is crazy, isn't it? Do you know, I'm actually wondering if I would be able to do something with this, maybe in half. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. I could do it like that, I suppose. I'm not going to have a lot to play with. Well, I guess I could just ruffle it round, you know, like that maybe. Okay, right. Let me just take this down. So no more hoarding of this. I'm just going to be using it. Yeah. No more hoarding of that. So yeah, just kind of maybe ruffle that. Okay, right. So I might just cut this into thirds. Just approximate thirds. Doesn't have to be anything precise. Okay, and yeah, just take it down a little bit more. So try and get roughly the same sort of size again. Okay. Okie dokie, right. So like that, okay. So then what I'm going to do is just ruffle these up. Now, I'm going to use hot glue, but of course you could use, you know, you don't have to use hot glue. You could use needle and thread if you prefer. So I'm going to cut out a base for my flower just out of this, which was kind of like some remnant fabric. And then I'm going to just ruffle this round here like this. Just deciding which edges I want more showing. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter, to be honest. So yeah, right, okay. Let's just ruffle this straight onto here, actually, I think. So like that. So literally it's about 1 inch deep that I've kind of cut it, and I'm just like ruffling it on to here. Now I've made a terrible job of this. Not a good job. Yeah, not a good job at all. So like that. Okay. Then I will go opposite that and do the other side. So like that. Okay. Like that. And then I'm just going to fill in these two bits here, so at the sides. So one here. Okie dokie. Oops. Like that. And, you know, if you've got gaps, that's fine. We can always fill those in with a bit more. So, yeah, I mean, there, obviously, I'm going to need another bit of fabric, but that's fine. So, a bit here. Okie dokie. Okay, right, let's just now glue this one down. Okay, right. Now my flower's looking very misshapen so far. It's a bit sorry for itself, but I'm hoping we're going to be able to pull it back out of the doldrums and make it look a bit better. Yeah, it's not looking great so far, so yeah, not my finest work, it's got to be said. But hopefully we're going to improve it. So let's just tear a bit more of this down. I mean, you know, I've gone from hoarding this to now completely trashing it. So, yeah. Okay, right. So, yeah, we're just going to ruffle this piece in here. I mean, to be honest, it's better to have kind of a voluminous, that's the word, voluminous. Voluminous, that doesn't sound right. Even to my own ears, it sounded strange. Voluminous. I don't know why I can't seem to say that, but anyway, voluminous flower than a stingy flower. So nobody wants a stingy flower, do we? So yeah, I'm just going to kind of layer it up with a few more little bits. So just building up kind of layers like that. Okay. Yeah, so that looks pretty, doesn't it? Right, okay. Now, shall I be really good and get rid of those scraps? Honestly, I'm just so terrible for hoarding it. Right, now, on the inside, I'm going to layer up with some of this green. Now, I'm just deciding, yeah, so I'm going to just cut this down. Oops. Just cut it to about here. Oops. Oh dear. Right, now I might cut this in half, like that. So half down the lengthways. So if you're making one of these, I've layered up the, you know, the fabric, if you see what I mean, the, yeah, the fabric. And now I'm just layering up some lace. So just going to put some glue down here. And then we just, again, ruffle this in like that into there. Okay. And then we just go opposite there. I like to just do opposites really, because I think then it's easier to fill in around the edges and it doesn't have that sort of weird look, you know, when you've done things, oh, what's the word? You know, like when things go overlapped and it looks like scales on a fish, if you know what I mean. Whereas if you go opposite and then you fill in, I just think you get a bit of a better overall appearance. So that's why I kind of prefer to do opposites first and then, you know, then fill in the spaces rather than, you know, going round like that. So, okay, and then just take a little bit more. So there. You know, just like a bit of a jigsaw puzzle here, we're just filling in those spaces here. So, like that. Okay. So you've got your fabric on the bottom and then you've got your lace. Like that. I just now put my next one down. Okay, like that. Okie dokie. Oh my goodness. Oh, come on. Oh, not making a good job of this. Now, this I would say is a a project that you probably need your hot glue. So you could ruffle your, you know, your petals with stitching, like I said, kind of, you know, instead of ruffling them direct onto your project, you could ruffle them with, you know, with stitching. I would say when you come to actually attach your flower or assemble your flower, you probably will want some hot glue. Now, I'm not saying you couldn't use normal, you know, wet glue. You're going to then have to be very patient because you're going to have to kind of glue bits down and then, you know, really press it for a while whilst you're kind of gluing the remainder down. So, you know, it's just a sort of, yeah, I would probably recommend having a hot glue gun for making a flower like this. And I know that lots of you do ask. Now, mine is a Bosch hot glue gun. Now, I think it's something like a PKP 18E, if you can see that. Now, I've had loads of these over the time. Mine tend to last about a year and a half, something like that. Which that might not sound that long, but my hot glue gun is heavily used. You know, I would say it's, yeah, very heavily used. So I don't actually think it's too bad. I think it, you know, it lasts pretty well given how much I'm using it. You can get them from Amazon. So I think I've got it linked in my Amazon storefront, which should be linked on the video description below. So, you know, if you wanted to see the glue gun that, you know, that I really, yeah, would recommend to anybody, that's the one. And yeah, like I say, mine tends to have about a year and a half shelf life, but, you know, I think it's yeah, undergoing excessive use. So, I mean, yours would probably last longer than that. I mean, I wouldn't like to say, obviously, because I don't know how often you'll be using it. But, you know, I think mine is, yeah, undergoing severe torture, if you like. So, yeah, it's kind of having very, very heavy use. So I don't think it does too badly use, you know, lasting a year. Because, to be honest, it does really get used a lot. So that's my flower. Now, I'm going to put this in the centre. So, yeah. Like that. Okay. And then another one. Again, just kind of stagger those petals so hopefully you fill in the spaces or the gaps, you know. And then the final one into there. Like that. Okay. Now, I feel like mine's very misshapen, so I might just kind of like cut it down a bit. Right, now what you could do is open your scissors out, and if you want to rough your edges up, go around your edges. Obviously, I've just glued it on a fabric base, so it's not kind of like a cardboard base or anything that I'm screwing up. It's just fabric. And you can go round there like this. You can probably see frayed bits of fabric kind of dropping off. It's just roughing those edges up, giving it a bit more of a sort of, you know, yeah, roughed up kind of texture. So hopefully that's kind of, you know, visible there. Right, now just deciding how to finish my flower off in the centre. So I don't necessarily think this is the right colour, but let's give it a try. Give it a try. Like that. So I'm just going to place this back onto the cover. Okay, and now don't forget, I am going to glossy accent that thingamabob. So we've got that. Now, again, the tassels, everyone's going to get different, you know, different colour tassels. I can't guarantee what, you know, what tassels you're going to actually get, but like that. And then I'm going to bring in my gems. The gems also, you will all have different gems. So not necessarily all different. You may have some of the colours that I've got. You may have, you know, different colours, but hopefully you're going to have a good, you know, good selection of colours. Oh my goodness, how pretty does that look? So obviously I don't need that smaller flower because it's kind of lost straight under there. So yeah, I'm going to use that as my centre now. I'm going to colour mine with, I haven't got any patina left, unfortunately. I've run out of my patina, which is such a shame, because otherwise I would colour this with patina. I don't have any left. So what I'm going to use is, I've got this, which is Deco Art. oh gosh, what does it say? Deco Art Metallic Paint. It's Extreme Sheen, they call this. So I'm going to go over it with a bit of this. Now I have to say this does go very, very, very bronzy orange. So I'm going to go over the outside with a bit of this, and then I may have to tone it down with something once it's dry. So yeah, I mean, actually you could have gessoed over this, but let's go over it first with this. And then actually I might go over this with the gesso. So I'm just going to go over it. Now, if you dab the paint onto the gemstone like I am, you know, not intentionally, but yeah, because I'm a bit rubbish like that, probably would be better applying this with a brush, but never mind. You can then just obviously wipe off of your gem. I mean, you could get a tissue and wipe it off. It doesn't really matter, but yeah, don't worry. If you get it onto your gem, you know, it wipes off. So, and again, this paint, I got this paint from Amazon. I'm sure you can probably get it from other places. I'm sure there's other brands. You know, I'm not saying it's a particularly brilliant one. It's just, it's one that, you know, I have got. You know, I wouldn't necessarily say I'd recommend it. I wouldn't necessarily say I wouldn't recommend it. But it's just a paint that I happen to have had actually from something different. I bought it to kind of decorate some furniture, you know, and not touch up, but, you know, highlight the edges of the furniture, and it worked brilliantly on that. So yeah, I've obviously got quite a lot left over, which I can now obviously use for crafting. So I'm just going to dry this off now with my heat tool. Like that. Okay. Right. Hopefully that's dry. Right, okay. So let's put this lace down on the edge. Oops. Again, I'm just using my 3-in-1 glue here. Like that. So plenty of glue, so it's hopefully going to hold down nicely. Okay, let's just check which is the right way and which is the wrong way of the lace. Always a bit hard to see. Okay, so press that down. Again, going to go obviously over the back and just glue it down on the back as well. Like that. So yeah, press that one down. And then just going to snip that off here. Okay. Right, now this I'm going to put here. I might even have a few more flowers, I'm not sure. Where's my stuff? Let's just see. I actually haven't decided whether I want this or not. This was obviously just in my die cut pack, but yeah, I don't know really whether I do want it or not. But well, at least the children seem to have got over their fallout now. So yeah, I can hear them. They're obviously playing something, and they're kind of saying, "Oh, I don't know what's going on, what they're doing," but yeah. Right, so this I'm going to glue down here. So it's going to be underneath the, you know, the topper. So like that. Oops, okay. And this is obviously the lace I'm using for my wraparound closure. So I'm not going to cut that down yet because, you know, I don't know quite what size I want it yet, but let's have that flower there. Ooh, now thinking, do I want it there, or actually I quite like it over there. Let me just check whether I want any more. Yeah, might actually want a couple more flowers, so let's just, oops, just take those bits out. Oh no, I like them together. I've only put them together with different colours a couple of times, and actually I think I prefer them sort of, you know, not mixed up colour-wise. I think I prefer them just, you know, as they were. Okay. Oops, just pull that out. Right, I'm going to glue this piece down now. So, and then, you know, I say this all the time, I like to just be committed to something, because I find then it's much easier to then work from. If I'm kind of like, you know, too many things that I can move around, I just find myself constantly moving them around. So I almost find it better once one or two things are actually glued on. So yeah, if you followed along, I hope you're pleased with your fabric flower that you've just made. And, you know, I hope that everything's nice and kind of easy and good to follow. Okay, let's just, oops, mind I don't dab that bronzy colour all over this. Okay, like that. Again, I also had one of these on in my pack. I'm not saying that you are going to have one of these. Hopefully you will have you know, a lot of lovely things that you really do like, but I can't guarantee, you know, who's going to have what. So, you know, all I can say is I just hope that you've got lots of things that you do really like. You know, even though I can't guarantee what things those might be. So where did I put my gem? So my gem's going to go on there. Then we've got this. Yeah, I'm actually thinking maybe like that, to be honest. I don't know whether to gesso that or whether to leave it. I actually quite like it just as it is. So yeah, I might just leave it. So I'm just going to glue this tassel, not handle, but you know, tassel, I don't know what you would call it, but this part of the tassel, just glue that down. And then I can glue that flower onto there. So, and hopefully that's kind of reinforced where that tassel's glued down. It's hopefully, you know, helping to hold that down as well by popping it there. Now, just having a look to see, what have I done with my, this trim. So I may have a bow onto the edge. Oops. I mean, we could even have this dangling, to be honest, from a bulb pin. So, yeah, I might do that. Now, just quickly before I commit to having this, I'm thinking, should we put this on a bit of lace to kind of make that stand out? So I'm just going to tear this down. I always like a sort of roughed up edge, really, on the lace if I can. Might even tear the, or, you know, cut this edge off a bit so I can really raggedy it up. Down the edge like that. Okay, I just like it sort of a bit more raggedy looking, so just going to cut the other edge down as well. I hope this isn't going to turn into one of those where I actually end up with like nothing left to use because I've, you know, torn it around. But anyway, like too much, torn it around too much. But right, let's have a look. So yeah, maybe like that, I think is quite nice. So I'm going to glue this down here, like that, across the middle-ish, like that. Then this piece I'm going to just glue down on top of that lace, like that. Okay. Right, loving how that looks. And then here, just got some pearly trim Going to put that little gem, I think, in there. Let me just check that I wouldn't prefer a big gem, but I think they're probably too big for those flowers. But it's probably a bit odd because I feel like, you know, it's a bit diagonal, isn't it? It's kind of going in a bit of a line. So yeah, whereas that just looks a little bit kind of better for doing that, I think. So yeah, now I'm thinking perhaps we should just paper clip this flower on. Let's just have this bow going off to the side. So, oops, sorry, I'm knocking more things off my desk now. So yeah, let me just put those back. Right, put this pearly trim here. Like that. Okay, that looks very pretty, doesn't it? And then, yeah, we're going to have this flower over here. We're going to have this dangling. So I am going to try and glossy accent this. Like I say, I haven't tried to use glossy accents on that, you know, with that ink before. So it's kind of like, fingers crossed, it's not going to, you know, just look awful and smudge. If it does, I will obviously have to redo that cabochon with something else. Might just pull in my gesso and we'll just try some gesso on top of that bronzy colour as well. Because we did talk about trying that, didn't we? So do we want some pearly trim down there? That would look quite pretty, wouldn't it? Let's just take that down and see. So yeah, maybe kind of like that. Okay, right. So I probably am best off gluing these as individual flowers, I think. So I pop these two down and then glue the others down, rather than trying to glue, you know, a line of glue and then somehow hit them with the flowers, or hit the glue with the flowers, which could be, ooh, sorry, just burnt my finger there with some glue that was oozing out. So yeah, not great. Right, let's just make sure that's glued down there. Okay, so yeah, like I say, I'm going to then attach this with a bulb pin after I've glossy accented it. This I'm just going to try with a bit of gesso. I nearly turned the camera off, but actually my gesso's sat right here, so that worked out well. Right, oh gosh. Right, let's just see how this goes. I have seen other people cover metal with gesso. I don't think I ever have done before, but I might have done actually. Hard to remember, to be honest, what you do, isn't it, when you're crafting? But yeah, let's just get that all over. I mean, obviously there's still bits of that bronze showing through, but it's not quite so prominent. So I quite like that sort of more subtle look, I think. Okay. So yeah, that looks pretty, doesn't it? So we are now going to glue the, you know, this in here. That's the centre for the flower. Okay. Okay. And then literally I'm going to hang this with a bulb pin, but I'm going to glossy accent this first. So that's all I'm going to do there. And then obviously my wraparound closure is obviously this pink, oops, pink lace. Oh gosh, it's now touching my hot glue gun and that's now burning me because it's got now hot glue stuck on it. Oh dear, this is rapidly turning into a disaster, isn't it? So that is our closure. Now, obviously we do need to still, you know, finish decorating the inside and put some, you know, ephemera in it and things, but yeah, that's the done cover, or the finished cover. So, you know, if you have been following along, I know I've said it a lot of times, but if you've been following along, if you bought one of the kits, I hope you're having a lovely time. I hope you've made something that you're really, really, really loving. Please do share your photos on Facebook. I'm sure everyone would love to see how your project has turned out. And yeah, hopefully you will join me just for the next episode. Hopefully there's only one or two more left really to just do some bits of ephemera. And yeah, then hopefully you've got a wonderful keepsake, you know, that you can kind of really treasure and, you know, hopefully just feel really kind of proud of. And I've had a really nice time. I'm just going to put this in. I never ever know when to finish and when enough is enough. But yeah, just going to kind of put that down there. Yeah, so I hope that you've all really enjoyed it, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much.